Hi, this is TJ with Piano Clubhouse, and today I'm going to show you how to play Can You Stand the Rain by New Edition, a classic R&B hit from the 90s. So let's jump right into it. What you just heard me play was the introduction. So let's break that down. First thing, we're in the key of A flat. The A flat major scale is A flat, B flat, C, D flat, E flat, F, G, and back to A flat. So this introduction is what I would say is broken up into two different progressions. The first progression is just this part right here. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just those 4 chords is the first progression. Okay. One more time. So let's break that down. So the left hand first, let me give you the primary bass note is F, G, A flat, then down to D flat. One more time. So with each of those bass notes, I'm going to add the interval of a fifth up from it to kind of help fill in the chord. So with the F, we're going to add a C. With the next note, the G, we're going to add an E flat. So then when we go to A flat, we're going to play this E flat again. So the E flat is hit twice in a row. So first, second, third, and then the fourth chord is D flat. We're going to add an A flat to it. Okay, so let's do the left hand all completely with the intervals. Here we go. Okay, so now let's add the right hand. So before I start, I want to kind of give you the concept of what's going on. So if you're familiar with the song, you know that the chord starts out with sunny days. And so what we're going to do with the right hand, we're going to kind of follow that outline of that melody with this chord. So those 3 notes I just sang was sunny days. It's G, E flat, and B flat. So that's going to be the top note of each of these next 3 chords. The ear when somebody's listening to a song, the ear has a natural tendency to go to listen to the highest note of a chord. So we want to kind of lead the ear in this progression. So each chord I'm going to play is going to have G at the top note, then E flat at the top note, and B flat. Okay, so it's going to be G's at the top, E flat's at the top now B flat's at the top. Okay, so let me give you those chords. So the first chord is A flat, C, E flat, and G. This by itself is an A flat major 7 chord, but when we add the F and C, it becomes an F minor 9, okay? Second chord, right hand by itself is just doing an E flat major chord, but we throw in the G at the bottom. It's still an E flat major over G, okay? So first chord, second chord, third chord. Right hand's doing pretty simple, just an F, A flat, and B flat, just those 3 notes, and the left hand is on the A flat and E flat. Okay. Then the last chord we're going to fall on, left hand is on that D flat and A flat. Right hand is now on F, A flat, C, and E flat. By itself, this is an F minor 7, but when we add that D flat at the bottom, it becomes a D flat major 7. And we added the 9 to it, which is that E flat. Now I want you to really focus in on this chord and the shape of this chord and how my hand is, because this is probably, we're going to do this chord in every single section of the song a lot. So I want to just be able to quickly call it out and say, hey, next we're going to do that D flat major 7 chord. And just memorize this chord, lock it in, because we're going to use this a lot. Okay? Write it down, practice it, memorize it, but I'm going to just call out the name of this chord so we can just flow through this tutorial quickly, okay? So that's the first progression. Let's do it in time. Do a little glissando at the beginning. Here we go. Ready? And there's that D flat major 7. Okay. So now let's go to the second progression in the introduction. That was the first half of this progression, the first half of the introduction. The second half is, so we ended up here. The next thing, the left hand is going to walk up the bass line, just up the scale. So we're on D flat. You're just going to walk up E flat, F, G, A flat, and end up back on the D flat again. Okay? E flat, F, G, A flat. Okay? And then again, we're going to add a second note to the bass line to kind of fill in the chord. So over this E flat, we're going to add B flat. And as you're walking up, the rest of these are going to be the exact same pair of chords, pair of notes that we did in the introduction. F and C, G and E flat, A flat and E flat, and then D flat and A flat. All those are the exact same that we did at the beginning in the first progression. The only difference, we're now adding this E flat chord at the beginning. Okay, so now the right hand, let's add the right hand to that. So we ended up here, and so we go to, over the E flat, right hand's gonna play an E flat major chord, G, B flat, E flat. And the simplicity of this part is right hand just going back and forth between two different chords. This E flat chord, leave this E flat here, and these two notes are just gonna move to the right, one note of the scale, to A flat and C, to an A flat major chord. So just back and forth between these two chords for this second progression. Okay, so it goes back and forth, and then the last chord of this progression is back to that D flat major 7 chord that I told you to memorize. Okay, so just two repeated chords end up on the D flat major 7. So in contact with the left, E flat major. This is an F minor 7 when we pair the left hand with it, but the right hand is just doing an A flat major chord. Back to the E flat on the right, over G, back to A flat on the right, A flat on the left. End up on the D flat major 7 with the 9. Okay. All right, so let's put this in time with the first progression. So we're gonna do both progressions, the entire introduction in time. Here we go. Okay, so before I jump into the verse, one quick thing I didn't show you was just a quick lick in between repeating the introduction phrase is G, A flat, E flat. So after we end up on that, kind of goes in there real quick. G, A flat, E flat. I'm doing octaves, but if you can't get that fast enough, just do individual notes. So here it is in context. Right there, okay? One more time. Octaves. Oh, too high. There it is. G, A flat, E flat. Okay, so you get the idea. Don't overdo that line. Don't do it every single time you do that lick, but it's nice to throw it in there at least every other time. So let's go right to the verse. Let me play through it, and then we'll break it down. 1, 2, 3, 4. repeat that section.